Welcome, everybody. I'm Robin Vogel, and this is our Monday morning Come Back to Love, Connect, meditation, connect time, and community gathering. So nice. I've been looking forward to this since yesterday. All right. So, unless you're driving or walking, I invite you to have a breath and gently close your eyes. And those of you that are here for the first time, first of all, welcome. And just know that we're live on YouTube right now, and we won't be when we have some small group sharing for whoever's present on the Zoom. So it's just this moment that we are shouting out to our YouTube community and our YouTube fans. All righty. So nice, deep, deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, deep breath in through the nose. And as you do that, allow the belly to expand, allow your shoulders to relax, allow your heart to open. And a nice slow exhalation. And it might be a morning for a little stretch. I invite you to open your arms out to the left and the right. Which gets the heart opened, reach up overhead. And relax the arms back down. And give your shoulders a little roll. You have to also physically open our hearts, right? And that's what it feels like this morning. Open, open, open. Any stretching, any micro movements your body requires this morning, I invite you to do and to participate in. And then I invite you to bring your attention to the land that's out in front of you or surrounding where you are. For me, there's beautiful trees. There's some grass. There's some green, sort of leftover green lingering in the winter earth. There's also frozen ice this morning and solid ground. So just connecting with the natural world in your mind's eye. And let's ignite all of the earth beings, the earth fairies, all the elements, fire, water, air, and of course, earth. And just feel the vibration or the sensation, however you acknowledge it for yourself, that you're like turning up. I like to say turning up the volume on your awareness of the earth and all that it has to contribute, but all the elements, not just the earth this morning. Perhaps it's the calm waters, the fire of transformation, the crisp air that's very enlivening, and the solid ground. All incredibly nourishing, all incredibly just freely gifting to us and to the planet. All a very functional ecosystem that supports our well-being. I invite you to send a grounding cord from the base of your spine into the earth. If you're in New England, you're pushing through some pretty crispy soil, perhaps some snow and ice as well. But eventually it's soft, fertile, rich, warm soil. Connect yourself all the way to the center. And then a nice deep breath and expand your energy field out in all directions. All directions. Thousands of miles in all directions. Above, you already did below. So above your head and all directions all around your physical self, physical being. Expand, expand, expand until you're crossing the continents, the waters, all around the globe. And notice how that brings relaxation. For those of you that may have been feeling anxiety this morning or some kind of unsettled feeling, or stronger than that, notice when you expand out and be more connected with your infinite self, that those body sensations can shift. That the feelings can shift. And this morning we're expanding out into the unknown, out into the universe even further. Briefly engaging with and dancing with the planets, the stars, the moons. And what is it like to breathe into unknown? Breathe into not knowing. Our minds go immediately to definition, to explaining, to conclusions. Because conclusions somehow have us feeling relaxed. At least our minds feel relaxed when there's conclusions. We know the mind knows, thinks it knows what it can be sure of. Even though if COVID didn't teach us that that's not true, I don't know what did. So expanding, expanding out. Opening up the space of possibility. Perhaps you all, myself included, have an agenda for today and you know what's on it, and maybe it is, and maybe it's not. And that's not wrong. That's also not right. It just is. And one of our greatest invitations, in my assessment thus far, is to know that no matter what, we're taken care of. And that it's not fully in my control what happens in any moment. So what is it like? What would it take? And what is it like to expand into allowance of what is? Allowance for unknown, allowance for discomfort, allowance for feeling unsettled, allowance for feeling whatever you're feeling. And know that it's not the daily tasks or the things in our life that happen from moment to moment. It's actually the holding that we all receive in a much, much greater space. Maybe the spaciousness is holding us. Maybe the the earth fairies that we just talked about and all the elements are holding us. Maybe the divine is holding us. And I think actually all of those things are holding us and are holding us up. There was a meeting at my synagogue on Saturday afternoon that I was able to pop into that was all about resilience, stories of resilience. And one of the takeaways for me was that resilience is a continuum, and that we come out and we come back in, that we feel resilient and then maybe we're less resilient, but we can keep coming back to resilience. And when I think of resilience, I think of these ways that we're held, by all the unknown and unseen forces in the universe. That's where resilience lies, the remembering that we are held, that we are supported and loved, cared for, looked after, seen, recognized, acknowledged. And for me, that's a source of resilience ongoing. And it takes remembering that that's the case and that that's what's true. So just for a moment, let yourself rest in that awareness and that truth. And see yourself in that space of being held. In that energetic, loving, unconditional loving space. Because that's where the unconditional love lies. That's the source of the unconditional love. So breathing in, expanding your heart to receive more deeply. Lower any walls, any barriers. It's normal for resistance to come up. It's normal for the mind to say, like, no, that's bullshit. Thank you, mind. No, thank you. Just lower walls and barriers. Relax the body. And what would it take to stay in a space like this, no matter what's happening? So I invite those listening on YouTube to take some time to relax and breathe and take some breaths before rejoining your day from this new space that you've created for yourself that you can come back to anytime. And I also invite everybody who's live on the Zoom to do the same, to take a couple of breaths before we come back to some live sharing. And for those of you on Zoom, I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here.